Greenland and Arctic Command, and then they've been practicing and anticipating what it would be like if the United States invades. Europe is ready and prepared. We've been showing you speeches of people like French President Emmanuel Macron, who previously, back in 2025, maybe trying to appease Donald Trump or perhaps buy time. In 2026, their language has changed significantly. Macron is like, we need to inflict fear. We need to inflict pain. We need to make them fear us because that's what you want. Let's go. And I think that's how you have to treat Donald Trump, because he's pathetic. He's someone who is weak, and he's someone who you have to stand up to. If you give him an inch, he takes your life. So let me just share this with you first. First, I want to show you Prime Minister Carney of Canada. Here he makes it clear, while in Beijing, making a $1 trillion trade pact with China, I might add, to bring in EVs from China. China will start buying canola from Canada. This could be a devastating, fatal blow to the American car industry over time. Carney has phased it brilliantly, so it's not going to be a total damage to the Canadian car industry, but he phased it in a way that gives maximum leverage against the United States. But here's what Carney says about protecting Greenland. Play this clip right here.
Greenland, the future of Greenland is a decision for Greenland and for the Kingdom of Denmark. We are NATO partners with Denmark, and so our full partnership stands. Our obligations on Article 5, Article 2 of NATO stand, and we stand full square behind those.
Here's French President Emmanuel Macron talking about making Trump fear him. Here, play this clip.
In order to stay free, it is necessary to be feared. To be feared, one must be powerful. And to be powerful in this brutal world, one must act faster and stronger. This requires the nation to make efforts equal to our harsh times. That is why I wanted, on July the 13th, to bring forward to the year 2027 the objective, originally scheduled for 2030, of reaching an annual budget of 64 billion euros for our defense. Thus, in the span of 2 presidential terms, the budget for the armed forces will have been effectively doubled. And we won't have been outmaneuvered by the decision of this or that person for convenience to please this or that ally. We will have taken the lead through our own decision, the analysis we made of the evolving threat, and by doing so, as I said very early on, our will to never submit.
As Aura.
All right, so hey, you heard that right there. You heard what Macron, was it Manuel Macron? You heard what he had to say. Okay, look, this is going to be a real quick lesson, but prophecies are happening right in front of you, right in front of everybody. This is prophesied to happen. All the nations will hate the whore, as the scripture said. That whore is that great whore that sits upon many waters, Babylon, aka America. First and foremost, giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah HaKodash, double honors to the apostles and the elders, a great millstone, of whom I learn from daily. All right? Healthy shalom to the brothers out there doing the work in truth and sincerity. So there's that guy, the president of France, which, look, man, look, they all a bunch of moes and weirdos and, sex addicts and, you already know what it is, the files and all that shit. So they're a bunch of weirdos. Matter of fact, said that his wife is a man, and actually it's been proven. But that's neither here nor there as for this lesson. All right, getting right quick. It's not going to be very long. Jeremiah 51 and verse 7 reads, Babylon, right? Babylon, a.k.a. America, man. Because look, these nations are hating this great beast, or this the part of this system. Why? Because Apostle Tahar just put up a video, Tahar Salakia, just put up a video, it was an AI video with Donald Trump saying, I took that bitch. I took it. Talking about Venezuela, Denmark, other places, which you just heard about, Greenland. Okay? But yeah, Babylon has been a golden cup. And now the nations are getting pissed off and mad because they realize that Babylon was never for them, although they did get riches through the abundance of her sorcery and through the abundance of her riches, man. And hey, and all those riches really came off the backs of you so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, from your prospective tribe, which are the 12 tribes of Israel. And speckled bird, shall I say. Jeremiah 51 verse 7 reads, Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken. You hear what the scripture said? Right? The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Did you hear what Macron just said? He's like, you know what? And it's like that with the with the rest of the EU. It's like that with these so-called European nations. It's like that with these smaller nations. Let the weak say I'm strong, as the scripture said, goes into. It's like that with everybody, man. Everybody's getting pissed off and starting to understand that this place, Babylon, was never for them in the first place. Even though, the rest of these big nations, which in fact rule other parts of the earth, they're all Edomites too. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked, right? Verse 8 reads, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her take bond for her pain? If so be, she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her. You see that? And let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. That's what the scripture said. So all this, and hey, we sound like broken records, so be it. But all this is prophecy. You got to listen, Jake. You really got to listen. And you got to understand what's right before you. The title of this is from the Midas Touch Network. By the way, fair use, fair use. I'm going to put that in the beginning, of course. The Fair Use Act, right? All right. But, this is the Midas Touch Network. It said furious world leaders. They're all getting pissed off. And the scripture just told you. And this was written a long time before any of these cats were in charge. In this life, if you will, if you can receive that. The book of Ecclesiastes 12 verse 3 reads, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of windows of look out of the windows be darkened. Right? And the doors shall be shut in the streets. And this is what's happening right here in Babylon. This is going into, how there's no jobs. Like the Midas Touch guy, I'm not sure if he said it yet, but he says it in this clip. You can go to it and watch it if you'd like. It's the Midas Touch Network. He brings out a lot of good news. I'm just saying, this is good for edification. But he was going into what was it? Was it Denmark? No, it was France or something. No, China, Slovakia, China, and is either France or somebody who just made was it $1 trillion deal on EVs, man, on electric vehicles. Okay, and if you can remember, right here in Babylon, you had that old dirty Edomite woman, talking about she called the ICE people on this facility from people from was South Korea. And they was training and trying to build a massive, like trillions of dollar plant to make batteries. So this place is through. It's shooting itself in its own foot, and it's all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. That's right. Verse 4, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. We all know, that's not necessarily going into, the music itself, but we all know, man, look, this mumble rap and all that, it's terrible. Okay? But, the real point in that was, look, the grinding is ceasing. When you got Edomites, and I call them two-time losers, right? When you got Edomites, which this world basically belongs to them, as the scripture said. It was given to them. It was given to these wicked ass people, right? When you got Edomites bitching and complaining about they can't afford food, they can't afford to live, they can't afford child care, this or that, whatever, health care, which is a scam anyway. But when you got that happening, hey, man, that's prophecy also. The scripture said, look, a man that have joy of his children and live to see the downfall of his enemies. And I take pleasure in seeing this happen from day to day. Jeremiah 50 verse 9 reads, for lo, I will raise and cause to come up, to come up against Babylon, an assembly of great nations. What did that say? This is Jeremiah 50 verse 9. It sure is. What did it say? Let's read it again. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon, America, assembly of great nations from the north country. See that? And they shall set themselves in array against her. Thence shall she be taken. Their arrows, what? That's some ICBMs, right? Huh? You see it? Shall be as a mighty expert man. None of them shall return in vain, man. So look, if you know anything about ICBMs or whatever, when they when they let them loose, when they let them them arrows, the glittering swords, when they let them go, there ain't no turning back. You can't, they can't return. I'm not sure if you can even disarm them. Right? Listen to this. Verse 10 reads, and Chaldea, what? That's another way of saying Babylon, where these damn Edomites live and prevail amongst the earth, shall be a spoil, and all that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith the Lord Yahweh. So what you just heard right here was this guy, Macron, talk about, you know what? We're going to have to start showing some strength. And we don't give a damn what DJ Trump says. We don't give a damn what Babylon says. We don't care what America says. They can't fight every damn body. You see that? Verse 11, because ye were glad, because ye rejoiced, O ye daughters of mine heritage, because ye are grown fat as the heifer, as grass, and bellow as bulls, man. All right? So who's going to get the real victory? Matter of fact, that really takes me to, let's go to Revelation 17th chapter. I'll close out. Yeah, Revelation 17, talking about the beast, the 10 horns. Oh, yeah, yes. Verse 16. Yeah, straight to the point. All right. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. Ha! There it is. And shall make her desolate and naked. How? With them ICBMs. And shall eat her flesh and burn her with